Hey, this is Joshua Hedley, and you're listening to Walking the Floor.
I'm walking the floor over you.
Walking the floor.
I'm walking the floor. Walking the floor over you.
Hola, senors and senoritas. Howdy, this is Chris Shiflett, and you are listening to another fine edition of your favorite podcast, Walking the Floor. I am coming to you from my hotel room in Gothenburg, Sweden, where some of you might recall there was an infamous Foo Fighters show here a few years back, and we're playing here again tonight. And fingers crossed that things just go a little smoother than they did last time we were here, which I'm sure they will. We're all in fine form. Been over here for about a week, almost a week, and I'm still not sleeping right. I'm sleeping in chunks, sleeping weird. I'm a little out of it today. But I'm always a little out of it when I'm on tour. So I'm going to get myself out and about in the streets of Gothenburg today, find some coffee, do a little tourist exploration, and try to right the ship before tonight. Okay, there's two things I wanted to remind you about. The first of them being, do not forget that I am opening for Rhett Miller from the old 97s at the City Winery in Boston on July 20th. Gonna do a little acoustic set, just one man and his acoustic guitar and, you know, that sort of thing. I'm gonna play some new songs from my brand new album that I just finished last week in Nashville with Mr. Dave Cobb. That's right. It's gonna be the first time I'm gonna play some new songs, like super mellow, quiet versions of them, I'm guessing. The other thing I wanted to remind you about, the Walking the Floor playlist on Spotify. We need you to get on there and follow it. It's the greatest playlist of all time. It's so much better than The Pulse of Americana, which I couldn't help but notice has like 500,000 followers. So we just need all the people that follow that playlist to get over there and follow my playlist, and boom, we will be in business, people. We're about 500,000 people shy at present, at our current follower number. All right, let's get over to Zounds and sell some gear. You know Zounds, zounds.com. They have free shipping on every single order with no exceptions or exclusions. Most of their orders arrive within 2 days. And you can get caught up on previous episodes of Walking the Floor on the Zounds blog. So check that out, zounds.com. Okay, people, let's get on over to our interview. All right, so I got to sit down with Joshua Hedley a couple weeks ago when I was out in Nashville. We had a great conversation, covering all things from him growing up down in Florida, learning to play country music with the old folks down at the VFW Hall, to moving to Nashville, spending years playing in cover bands at Robert's Western World, to his evolution from sideman to frontman. And I even tried to get him to talk a little shit, but he's apparently learned his lesson the hard way, which he explains here in this interview. If you don't know Joshua Hedley's music, he makes beautifully crafted classic country. You can check it out on his debut full-length, Mr. Jukebox, out now on Third Man Records. We pick it up here, talking about our shared obsession with well-charged electronics. Here's the weird thought thinker himself, Joshua Hedley, on Walking the Floor.
Lovers find their joy. So feed me nickels.
These headphones are fucking amazing.
They're awesome.
The battery lasts like forever in these things. Like I got these. We've been touring a lot this year, and it's crazy, man. It's just like I have a weird tick that I have to constantly be charging all my electronic devices.
Me too.
Like the moment, and it drives me crazy with my kids because my oldest son has a cell phone. Does not share my tick. So he's like leaves the house with like 7% battery charge, like every single day, and it drives me fucking nuts, man. I don't know what that comes from.
My girlfriend doesn't plug her phone in overnight. And I'm like,
She just
I know.
Charger's right
Okay.
Yeah, my wife does the same thing, and you know what is even worse? I mean, I don't want to just sit here and back on my wife because I love you, baby. She, ever since they put that Do Not Disturb function on your iPhone, my wife it's just on Do Not Disturb forever. Like, so I'm like, baby, I gotta call you. It goes, I just say, I left like thousands of messages on my poor wife's phone. Like, it went straight to fucking voicemail again. God damn it. Anywho, I digress.
Cool wallpaper.
Yeah. I know, this place has a vibe, man. There's a really cool old piano in there that's like super out of tune and sounds like Haunted House when you play it. It's awesome. All right, well, let's just jump in. First things first, where did you get that beautiful suit on your album cover? When I saw your album cover, I was like, I got to get that guy's Taylor's phone number,
yeah,
man.
dude.
Jesus.
That is a guy in Indianapolis.
He's a current guy, or is that like vintage?
It's new. And he's got a company called Union Western Clothing. His name's Jerry Lee Atwood. He did my suit. He did both of Robert Ellis's suits. He's got two rhinestone suits, and Johnny Fritz has one too. Yeah, so he's kind of carving out a little niche. I think Nikki Lane has one as well.
Is he like the new nudie?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
did he come up under Manuel or one of those people?
I don't think so. He just sort of, like, Manuel doesn't want to do that like old school chain stitch style with like the pictures and stuff like my suit, and he just sort of does like floral designs and like tribal shit, whatever.
Right. Oh,
you know,
beautiful stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
You're a man after my own heart, sartorially. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Southwest Florida, in Naples, Florida.
Okay, what's that like?
Rich and redneck at the same time somehow.
Did you grow up with like a visceral hatred of tourists?
Yeah, I did. We call them Snowbirds.
Snowbirds.
Yeah, as soon as it gets cold in New York, they're down there. Yeah, it's weird. It's like the juxtaposition of like seriously like the 1% rich.
Right.
And then also just straight unabashed white trash. I don't know how they managed to coexist together.
Right.
But they did. And yeah, I grew up playing at this little bar called Porky's Last Stand. And I played there from 13 to 19 when I moved here. And yeah, it was...
It's like a honky-tonk kind of bar, like a country bar?
It was like a barbecue restaurant in the front, and then they had a bar in the back, and the bar only had like, you know, like a few walls, and then it had that roll-down clear plastic like tarp wall. And yeah, I played in this band called Hot Country, and I was 13, and then it was a bass player. Everybody else was like in their 40s, and it was like a bass player, a guitar player, a chick singer who's probably she was also younger, and then a drum machine.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's a funny way to learn. You must have like impeccable meter because of it.
Yeah. You know.
Now you started playing when you were really young, right? Didn't you start playing fiddle when you were like 3 years old?
I asked for one when I was 3.
Why? Like, why do you think you were drawn to it?
I don't know. My parents didn't listen
you're
to
a pretty
country
young
music.
guy, so that seems like it would have been. I mean, I guess when you're 3, you probably don't have a lot of like cultural references, but it seems like an odd choice.
Yeah.
Like, what were your parents listening to? Like Bob Wills or something? Like, what?
No.
How'd you get sort of? Well, what turned you on to music? What gave you the bug?
No clue. My parents aren't musicians. My dad he could kind of carry a tune, but you know, my mom listened to like Neil Diamond, and my dad listened to Otis Redding, and I don't know. Maybe I saw it in a movie or like a Disney movie or something. I have no clue why I asked specifically as well for a fiddle, not a violin, a fiddle.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of, we laugh about it kind of because it's sort of a mystery.
Well, when did you discover like classic country? When did you start getting turned on that?
Well, I got a fiddle when I was 8, and I took classical lessons, Suzuki, and my fiddle teacher, or my violin teacher, knew that I wanted to play fiddle, so she would learn these little fiddle tunes, and then teach them to me in addition to my classical studies. And it just sort of branched out from there. Like,
that was the thing that you kind of gravitated to?
Yeah, it was like, okay, I know like a few fiddle tunes. I'm 10 years old, My parents found this little like local bluegrass jam. Started taking me to that. I started, the very first band that I ever played with came out of that. They were called Half Grass. We played old country songs and old bluegrass songs. And I just learned a lot from there, and then taking me out to these like country jam session things at the VFW and American Legion and stuff.
I read that you were playing with older guys at like a VFW hall, and that kind of piqued my interest because to me, I associate VFW halls with punk rock shows. You know, because like when I was like in the '90s touring, I was in a band called No Use for Name, and it was like a punk rock band, and half the shows were at VFW. There's always a VFW hall or like an Elks Lodge or something. There'd be like a piano on the stage you have to kind of push out of the way and a crappy PA system. So I'm curious to hear what that scene was like. Like, who were I'm fascinated by these middle-aged pickers that took you under their wing for being such a young kid.
I mean, the middle-aged ones were the young ones. These were like grandma and grandpa in like matching square dance shirts, BYOB, getting wasted on a Sunday afternoon, drinking, like Crown Royal and water, and then white Zinfandel with ice cubes in it. We're playing Ray Price songs. And then they stopped for the 50-50 raffle and the cakewalk, and like just all the like really, quintessential old person stuff that they love, and that's where my education in country music really started taking shape.
And were you listening to those records as well?
I was, the more I learned about them, I go back when CDs were like $40 for one CD, and they came in a big plastic thing, so you couldn't steal them, but I still did.
It's hard to get those under your shirt and go unnoticed, man.
But I got like a Merle Haggard box set thing, and
that's a good box set.
And then like a Bob Wills anthology like double disc thing. And
were you still playing fiddle at that point? Like, when did you switch over to guitar?
I was just playing fiddle. I got a guitar when I was 12, but I learned like the intro of Smells Like Teen Spirit and was like, fuck this. I can already play this other thing. I'm just gonna keep doing that.
I mean, did you mess around playing in like through high school? Were you in bands that were other types of genres like rock and roll, punk rock, any of that kind of stuff?
Nope.
Were you just always country? Playing with the old folks on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, what an incredible learning experience. How that must have informed what you do now. And prepared you for when you moved to Nashville. Yeah. Because didn't you moved here and started playing at Robert's Western World, right?
Yeah, pretty immediately. I had started visiting here. There's a summer camp, Fiddle summer camp out in Dixon, or there used to be. Mark O'Connor had it. And I grew up, my parents and I, that was sort of like our summer vacation. We would come up to Dixon for the week of the Fiddle camp, and then come out to Nashville for a week just to bum around and stuff. And I started, I was 12 the first time we came, and I started going downtown and sitting in just wherever they would have me, and it had to be in the daytime. Back then you could get into the bars at 6 underage. It wasn't till 10 where it went 21 and up. So we would go into like Tootsie's and Roberts and Layla's and stuff, and I started we did it every summer.
I mean, I'm curious, like at that point, because you're sort of the things you're exposed to as a kid are oftentimes aren't indicative of what's happening in the rest of the world, right? So I'm wondering if moving here, were you still thinking that the type of country music you were into was like what was happening? It was like mainstream?
No,
because I kind of had a little bit of that experience when I moved to LA when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I was like 5 years off.
Yeah.
I mean, even though like that would have been like 40 years off or something, but you know what I mean? Like did you come? You're like. What the fuck? What is going on?
No, I mean, I knew that, like...
You knew you were, like, a bit left of center even then?
Yeah, but moving to Nashville, even in 2004 when I moved, you could still go to Tootsie's and hear, a Merle Haggard song.
Right.
And you weren't going to hear Don't Stop Believin'. By Journey,
right.
Now you hear it like every hour on the hour.
Yeah, really.
And no one's ever even heard of Merle Haggard. It was different then, but I knew that, country radio was like different. And I mean, at that time in like 2004, God, it was just the lamest of the lame. I remember just thinking like, it can't get worse than this.
What, mainstream country?
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprise.
I know. We used to there was a joke that we told that was, have you heard about this new music genre? They took the best parts of country and the best parts of rap, and it's called crap. And the thought that would even become a reality was just absurd. Mm-hmm. And here we are, 2018, and cowboys are rapping.
Yeah. I know. I would say it's kind of it's funny. I think modern country music is like tends to be a safe whipping boy for people.
Yeah.
But I exist mostly in sort of the world of rock, and it ain't that much different over there, man.
For sure.
I mean, I think it's just sort of the wider like Walmartization of culture.
Yeah.
Is really sort of what's happening.
You got your Nickelback over there.
Yeah.
We got Luke Bryan. You got Nickelback.
Right. You know what I mean? It's kind of it ain't that dissimilar.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not hating on those dudes. They're doing their thing.
No, I want you to hate on those dudes. Matter of fact, see, check it out. Well, not anybody in particular, because I don't know Luke Bryan. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I'm in town making a new record right now.
Yeah.
And the guy producing it said, dude, Dave Cobb, and he was like, you need to do a new segment for your podcast and call it like Talking Shit, because nobody ever talks shit. Dude. But what you could do is you do the Talking Shit segment, but you scramble the voice like it's one of those like FBI, and then you don't say who it is. And you just let people just spill the beans, man. They can talk shit about mainstream country, about their peers in East Nashville, anything, whatever.
Dude,
I'm gonna let you do the first segment on that, but I won't tell anybody, I promise.
Let me tell you, that got me in trouble. I'm a natural born hater. Right. By nature, my go-to is fuck that.
Are you kidding? You're talking to a half empty cup kind of guy.
Yeah.
100%.
And I mean, this is all just so new to me that I have yet to grasp that reality that I I can no longer just tweet whatever I want. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing in modern pop culture. Everybody's supposed to like each other. You know, everybody's supposed to love everybody else's song and sing its praises. And it's like one, you know, all the entire like, you know, music industry is supposed to be one big episode of Oprah or whatever. You know, what I mean? It's funny. That drives me crazy, man. I wish, because you know, everybody's just fucking. It's just bullshit. You know, this guy in this world doesn't fucking like the song by this person.
Right, I'm sure.
Give me a break.
Well, I was just now. It just bit me in the ass recently.
Oh, great. Let's do tell.
Yeah, I was about to play the Opry for my second time, and I was looking at the thing. I was laying in bed with my lady, and we were just sort of looking at the lineup, and there was this band called Low Cash. I was like, Low Cash? Who's that? And I like looked them up, and I found a picture of them from like when they first started in like 2010 or something. And I mean, the dude was wearing a hat that looked ridiculous. And my girl said, like, you know, it looks like he's wearing a big fortune cookie on his head. So I tweeted that with the picture and didn't really think, you know, like that was that offensive. Like, I'm sure we all have really embarrassing photos from 2010. You know?
Yeah. Were you at the Grand Ole Opry later like, hello, it's so-and-so from Low Cash?
Oh, it didn't even get that far. Like, they tweeted back at me. You know,
shit.
Just like, we had just a brief Twitter war. And I'm like, wow, shit. Like, I started feeling kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, you know, and I'm going to apologize to these guys when I see them. And, you know, I came in and, like, the both of us, like, me and her, just sort of like, man, we're just sorry. Because my fans just went, I mean, they went straight for the jugular.
I can only imagine.
I just can't, like, I don't even want to repeat some of the shit they said. And I'm just like, we came in and I'm just like, yo, I am so sorry. Like, that got out of hand. I just meant it to be sort of like, you know, kind of a lighthearted, just poking fun at you a little bit, you know, like, no big deal.
Yeah.
And it got way out of hand, and I'm sorry. And then they're the nicest dudes I've ever met.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course
they're the nicest guys I've ever met. They're like, water under the bridge, no big deal.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, we went back to our dressing room. One of the guys came back over. He's got fucking jerky that he made from a turkey that he shot this weekend. He's like, here, have some. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Kenzie and I are like just sitting there watching Tracy Lawrence, and he comes up and he's like, hey, look, and he's like showing us all these pictures he took of us, like, y'all look real cute, like, give me your number, I'll send them to you.
Right,
I'm like, okay. God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I felt like the biggest asshole on the planet.
I know. I get it. It's funny, you know. You tend to at least I always thought growing up, like, that, you know, music was real separate. Like, Motley Crue had to hate Duran Duran.
Right.
Of course they had to hate Duran Duran.
Right.
But the reality is probably they were all getting drunk in the same clubs and,
Yeah.
you know, sharing their cocaine in the bathroom together or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, it is, I hate this cliche. It's a fucking family. Like, you know, it's not, I mean, you know, like, there were definitely country singers who did not care for each other.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, sure.
George Jones and Porter Wagoner, you know, George Jones grabbed Porter Wagoner's penis at a urinal, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like an episode of Cocaine and Rhinestones, man.
I'm sure it will be.
Call Tyler.
Yeah, I'm sure he's on that. Yeah, he thought.
I've never heard that story. So what this, and from that point on, they just did not like each other.
Well, Porter was legendary for having he was very well endowed. And it got around that maybe Porter was sleeping with Tammy. And George Jones walked up to him, grabbed it, and just said, "I wanted to see what all the fuss was about." And
Shit
like that happened in country music.
I get it.
But
you think you think that like, you know, Porter Wagoner would just be like, "That's what it's about, bro." Right?
But yeah,
let's go have a beer.
It just sort of, it's not like that.
Yeah.
In the modern real world, you know.
Right. Well, eventually, you know, the chances are, if you hang around long enough, you're going to be on a festival with, you know, somebody you're talking shit about. So yeah, eventually you're going to come face to face with these people.
Don't talk shit about somebody when you know you're going to be sharing the bill with them 3 days later.
That is particularly irresponsible, kids.
Yeah.
Really, come on. Okay, well, we got a little off of where I was going with that, but which is great because that was good stuff. But tell me about playing at Roberts. I mean, I imagine, like, I've been in there a few times over the years, and it's like rowdy, drunk tourists. You know, that seems like a place that you could learn like crowd control skills pretty good if you weathered it.
Yeah, there's like a curve that happens. Like when you start there, I mean, it's just everything you can do to just keep up. You know.
Yeah.
You're playing 4-hour shifts. You know, and
you're singing the whole time?
No, not when I first started. I was mostly playing fiddle, singing harmony.
Okay.
And, you know, as you play over the years, you sort of like learn all these, you just learn how to deal with the crowd and how to work the crowd and stuff. And, you know, you get up there and then, you know, after you've been doing it for 13 years, it kind of becomes like, well, I'm just having fun up here. And if the crowd likes it, that's great.
But people are definitely drawn to that attitude.
Yeah.
When it's a funny thing, you know, when they can sense that you're not like begging for their approval. And
that's correct, man. That is.
I'm going to turn my phone off because I forgot to do that.
Yeah. Mine's also buzzing.
I was so obsessed with it. As you can see here, it's plugged in, it's charging. It's getting lots of power there. Anyway, yeah, it's a funny thing with playing live, you know. It can be a really insecure place.
Yeah.
Being in front of a room full of people with a loud microphone and everything. And like, you know, I can't, a million times I've been like, you're playing a show and I'm thinking, oh man, everybody hates this. This is terrible. You know, all these people are standing against the wall. They don't care. And then afterward, people come up to you and give you like the best compliments you ever had. You know what I mean? It's really, you can really misjudge a crowd when you're standing up there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I've done it and I've watched other people do it where you just like, you try to engage the crowd that's like not paying attention. And it doesn't work.
Right.
Especially down there. I mean, you exist mostly to be a soundtrack for people getting shit-faced.
Right.
Like,
it seems like that world of like cover bands on Broadway is like a dead end for most people. Like I always sort of in my head thought of that as the place where guys that didn't make it wound up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the reality. I don't live here, so I don't know if that's true, but that certainly has not been the case for you.
No.
How did you like break out of that scene? How did you get to where you are now from there?
Just touring with, I'll tell you what Broadway does. It churns out touring band members.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. Like everybody, I don't know if it's this way anymore because I don't know. I used to know everybody who played down there, but it used to be that like pretty much everyone who played downtown had a touring gig as well, except for the singer, you know. But all the band members usually had some kind of touring gig, and you know, they just go downtown to supplement their income when they're in town. But it can become a dead end because you start making money there, and it's like guaranteed money, and you know, you get into a rut where it's like at my most, when I was 24, I was playing 14 gigs a week down there. And
so if you're going on the road at that point, you're probably taking a cut in pay, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, you get into that mindset and it's there. It's very much a place for the player. As an artist, it's hard to get out of there. It's hard,
Well, what inspired you to start writing songs? Like especially coming out of that world.
I just wrote.
Or is that in itself what inspired you? I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. I gotta write some tunes.
I just had an idea for one, and I wrote it down, and I ended up playing it for people. I was touring with Johnny Fritz at the time, and like, he would hand me the guitar during his set, and I started playing it for, crowds, and people liked it, and I was like, oh, let me try to write another one. And I wrote another one, and people liked that one. And then, I think really, I don't really consider myself a songwriter. It's just like a thing I know how to do. Like I figured it out, more
than like a burning passion kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
See, songwriters I was talking about, I just had to get it out, man. I just had to get. I don't buy that shit. Like I don't. I think you get ideas when they come to you and they bubble up, and then you got to get them out.
Exactly. I can't. There's like a whole different, especially in Nashville. I don't know if this exists anywhere else really, but it's like, songwriters who are like that, they're songwriters. Like they are like, okay, you have to write 10 good keeper songs this month. Mm-hmm. Your publishing deal, whatever. Right. It's like,
well, that's a real different thing when you do those writing appointments and you're just writing all the time. Because I know some of those guys, and it's crazy.
I don't know how they do that.
I mean, it's crazy. They write so much music. It's just nuts.
I can it happens the same way for me every time. I'll like get a cool line in my head or something where I'm like, and I'm like, that's a cool little twist of phrase or whatever you want to call it. And then I start thinking about it. And like a few days later, I just sit down with the guitar and the whole song comes out in like half an hour,
I just got a good tip from a couple songwriter friends of mine out here. And it made me realize, God, I've been doing this backwards the whole time. They told me that they start with the tagline. Start with the chorus.
Sometimes that happens.
Because how many times you've been trying to write a song and you get like verse after verse after verse, and you just can't kind of put it to like, what's the fucking point? What's the thing that sums this all up?
You're right. Yeah.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah. Usually I do get the tagline first. But like there's a song on the record called Let's Take a Vacation, and I wrote it in Australia after it was the last day of the last tour that I was doing with Johnny. We were in Australia, we were at Byron Bay.
Love Byron Bay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorite places in the world.
And we had a day off before we flew back, so we went to the beach and like.
Do you surf?
No, I just kind of wade around in the water, and
it's real sharky in Byron Bay.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like in there, we get back to the hotel, and like how it is if you've been at the beach all day, you're just wiped,
crusty.
Yeah, you're just wiped out and dirty. And I just like laid in, there was 2 beds, and I just like laid in one of the beds and immediately passed out and woke up and was just like, oh, there's sand all in the bed. Like, because I didn't take a shower or anything when I got back. I just fell asleep. And I just I got this line just jumped in. It was like, I wanted, like, thinking about taking a vacation, and I was like, we can go on down to Florida and get some sand in the bed. Like, and that's not the tagline, it's just a line,
right?
But just I was like,
jump off point.
And then like that one materialized like real quick. It was just I wrote the whole thing, went into Johnny, was like, what do you think about this song? And he was like, oh, change that to this, and this to that, and perfect. I was like, did we just co-write? Is that what just happened? But you know, it's like, that's how I write. It doesn't,
like, that's right. I get 50%.
Yeah. Like Tom T. Hall is a songwriter. He's like,
Right.
I have to write 2 songs before I can leave the house today.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how people exist in that world.
Yeah.
I can only write if I have an idea.
I mean, do you feel like you're part of like a scene here in Nashville? Because and I'm getting to in researching, you know, to get ready to interview you, I stumbled upon that Heartworn Highways Revisited, which I don't know how I missed that when that came out. That because I love the first one. And you're featured prominently in that. I haven't watched it yet, but I watched the trailer, and it's sort of, the trailer at least suggests that that it's sort of covering, you know, the like modern Nashville sort of outlaw scene, for lack of a better phrase. Do you feel, is there like a scene like that where are you sort of like artistically working with your peers around town, collaborating on stuff like the, you know, I read that Guy Clark book a little while ago, and that was the thing that struck me, is that all those cats were like writing together, playing each other's songs, and like, you know, critiquing them, and, you know, like sort of helping each other develop as artists.
Right. I think that world does exist here. I think that scene does exist. But for like people like me, people in this, you know, at this point in our career, and at like in this style of music, we're on tour so much that it, like, I know I don't hang out. Like,
Right.
if I'm not on tour, I'm at home.
Sure.
Like, you know, that's just how it is for me.
Yeah.
Back then, when I think we filmed that in like 2015 or something, and it was a little different. I was a little different. I was drinking still, and like there was more hanging and more like, but I wasn't like, I don't know how I scammed my way into that movie. I was a fiddle player, and I had 2 songs that I had written.
Right.
And I made it into a featured like person in this film about songwriting.
I mean, is that what led to you getting a record deal? That sort of exposure? Because were you before that? Were you primarily sort of like in a more of a sideman role with other touring people?
But really, it was when I started touring with Justin Townes Earl, and that was more of your traditional like sideman gig. But when I left him, I went and started playing for Johnny Fritz, and with Fritz, it was never. We were just such good friends, and like it never felt like an artist sideman relationship. It always felt like 2 people, like a band,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
And he was always really like, he shouts my name out on one of his records, you know, when I play a solo, and like that really, like that dynamic between the 2 of us, and even towards the end of our touring together, like we were doing a lot of duo stuff, touring as a duo, just him on guitar and me on fiddle. And I mean, it was being billed as Johnny Fritz and Joshua Hedley. Right. And just through that, I managed to make somewhat of a name for myself, you know, around the country, around the world, just touring, you know. And just, I don't know, I probably, you know, just, I managed to get like 8,000 Twitter followers as just a fiddle player, right? You know, that's, or Instagram followers or whatever. But, you know, that really sort of got my name out there and got me some, I don't know, recognition or whatever, you know, as an artist. And then people found out that I sang, and I was doing this Roberts thing, and and I started getting calls from people like Jack called me to do some sessions when he was doing the Blue Series and just stuff like that. And then it just all kind of worked up to, I got this write-up in Rolling Stone about like the 10 country artists to watch for in whatever 2016 December, whatever it was, like I don't remember exactly, but that, and I had made this EP because I was touring over in Australia, and you know how it is, it's just like you got to have something to sell at the merch booth.
Yeah, sure.
So I made this EP, and like I had to do something with it. I can't remember, but like I gave it to a friend of mine who's an entertainment lawyer to, do something. And he was like, man, this is good. Like, can I send this to some people? I was like, sure. And he sent it to a bunch of labels, and one of the labels was Third Man. And in that article, it says if Jack White's looking to sign a male counterpart to Margot Price, like look no further. So he sent it over to Ben Swank, just like, haha, like, isn't that funny? And in the article, it had a song from the EP, and he listened to the song and he was like, man, this is great. And he played it for Jack, and they were like, is there any more? And we sent him the whole EP, and he played that for Jack, and they offered me a record deal. So I just sort of like fell into all this shit.
Right.
It's not anything I ever went looking for.
I mean, your record sounds expensive, man. Like, how did you make that? Did you get old timers to come play on it? Because like, I don't think of like even people that are into classic country don't play with that kind of dynamic. It really nails a vibe without being a period piece,
right?
To me, even though it's like obviously it's very classic country sounding, it still sound, the drums are still louder than it would have been. It's not it really sounds like 1965. You know what I mean? But there's a dynamic to the playing on it that just sounds like really well crafted.
Well, I had a lot of good friends, who were willing to sort of come in and do it, and a lot of it I have to give to my producers. Jordan Lenning and Skylar Wilson, they produced that EP for me for free under, this is like some real music business shit right here. Like, they produced this EP for me as friends with the stipulation that if it turned into anything and I got to make a full-length record on a label, I would hire them to produce it.
Right.
And truth be told, the EP came out so well that I would have done that anyway.
I haven't heard the EP. Is it similar vibe?
Yeah, a couple of the songs made it onto the record, but we added more to them on the record. And stuff. Like, there's no strings on the EP. But when I wrote "Don't Waste Your Tears," like that like into the chorus, that big string swell into the chorus, like that was in my brain when I wrote it. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted that song to sound like. I just didn't have, the means to do it.
Does Jack White get involved in the making of his artist writing? Like, does he A&R, like A&R, or like, you play it for him and he makes suggestions? Is he
not mine?
Kind of hands on? Oh, really?
Yeah, they just gave me some money and were just like, go make more of that.
Right.
Like, I was like, okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, I mean, they really let me be as hands-on as I wanted to be on this record. And they just kind of sat back and let me do my thing, even down to like the record cover and stuff. Like, I worked with a friend of mine on that record cover and the three of us really worked together to make it into exactly like my vision for that. And the videos, like, I have especially like the Mr. Jukebox video came pretty much out of my brain. Like, a director friend of mine, we got together and he kind of helped me formulate it into a video. And so
what's the one that's in like slow-mo? Is that Mr. Jukebox? Or I watched a video of yours on your website. That's just the whole thing's kind of shot in slow mo.
Oh,
it's like got a real like kind of heaviness to it.
Is it when I'm in the Chinese restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah. That's Never Shed a Tear.
Yeah, that's a great video.
Thanks.
Great idea. Yeah.
The one before that is Mr. Jukebox, where it's sort of like it's like kind of it showcases like my two worlds. Like I'm signing this record deal and, you know, taking pictures and signing shit and
Jack Daniels and Lamborghinis, man. Come on, it's the biz.
Just like the whole vibe is sort of like, oh, I don't know if I'm really into this, you know, and then they're trying to make me, there's like a meta thing where they're trying to make me make a really stupid video in the video.
Right.
And, you know, like fake cornfields and paper mache horses and shit. Right. And then, you know, it's like, oh, I get to leave there and I go to Roberts and like, finally, like I'm doing my thing. But yeah, they let me be as involved as I want to be in it. And they're, you know, they just kind of, I don't know if they do it for everybody, but for me, they don't really have a whole big hand in the creative aspect of it.
What's next for you? I mean, like what's the year ahead? Just tour?
Yeah.
Record with the symphony?
I hope so. Touring forever. I think we're pretty much gone from like the end of June to the beginning of November.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just got
working it.
I'm going to Australia in July, and I just got another offer to go back in October. So it would be like that. It would be a short UK run, flying in to the first leg of the US tour, leaving from there, flying to Australia for a short Australia run, flying back to Australia or flying back to the States, getting in on October 15th, and then October 16th starts the second half of the US
Awesome.
The US run. So
better make sure that you got your frequent flyer traveling number all signed up for all the different airlines.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's gonna be bonkers, but I'm into it. So
that's cool, man. You gotta hit it.
Yeah.
You're a young man. You can handle it.
Man, I tell you what, touring.
It's a lot harder when you get to my age, son. Let me tell you,
dude. Even getting out of the van at 33 is a lot harder than getting out of the van at 25.
Yeah,
you know.
Tell me about it. I get out of my car, I gotta like straighten my back.
Oh no, we just drove back from Philly a couple days ago, and it ended up, you know, with traffic and stops and everything. It was just like, it ended up being like 15 hours or something like that. Getting out of the van at my house, it was just like, like,
Grandpa's home.
Yeah,
clear the couch.
They call me Grandpa on the road. That is like my nickname on the road is Grandpa.
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, killer, man. I think we got it. Thank you. Thanks for coming by on this Sunday morning.
Yeah, this is fun.
I'm sure you got better things to do.
I got nothing to do. My car, I came back and my car had a flat tire, and my spare was also flat, so I'm just stuck at the house.
Nice.
On a Sunday.
Say hello to Uber.
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Is my game today.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Well, I've got the perfect dance.
All right, that was Joshua Hedley on Walking the Floor. Make sure you get on over to walkingthefloor.com. I put up a bunch of cool links to his website and video and, you know, stuff that he referred to in that interview. Sounds like the man's going to be on tour for quite a while, so get out there, buy a ticket, buy a t-shirt, support your scene, baby. All right, that's it for this week. Make sure you also go get a ticket to my show with opening for Rhett Miller at City Winery in Boston on July 20th, I think I said it was, somewhere around there. I don't know. Just Google it, baby. Find it. Go to it. Do it. And while you're doing that, make sure you get on over to the Walking the Floor Spotify playlist, and just all you gotta do is follow it. I don't even give a fuck if you listen to it or not. Just follow it. We just need the numbers, sheer numbers. That is it for this week. Gonna be back in 2 weeks, I think, with my man Paul Franklin, steel guitar player aficionado Paul Franklin. All right, we'll see you then. Adios, amigos!